They called him Old Blood and Guts, but behind that polished helmet and piercing stare was a man of contradictions, brilliant and brash, gallant and controversial. General George S. Patton wasn't just a military commander. He was a force of nature, revered by soldiers, feared by enemies, and watched warily by his own allies. He didn't just make history, he stormed through it. From the battlefields of World War I to the stormy campaigns of World War II, Patton shaped the outcome of modern warfare and did it all with a saber at his side and a Bible in his hand. But his story isn't just about victories on the battlefield. It's a tale of ambition, controversy, and a man constantly at war with his enemies, his allies, and himself. George Smith Patton Jr. was born into a legacy of soldiers. From the moment he could walk, he was told he was destined for greatness, descended from warriors, raised on tales of valor. He studied the battles of history, not like a student, but like a prophet preparing for his own crusade. His destiny wasn't a question, it was a promise. Patton entered West Point in 1904, graduating just 4 years later. Impatient and intense, he saw combat in the 1916 Pancho Villa expedition, but it was World War I that first gave him the taste of mechanized warfare. Patton, ever the visionary, saw the future of war not in cavalry charges, but in tanks, massive thundering machines that could change the face of combat. He helped create America's first tank corps, charging into the smoky hell of the Western Front with characteristic fire. But it was World War II that etched his name in legend. North Africa, Sicily, Normandy, Bastogne, the Bulge. He didn't just win battles. He orchestrated masterpieces of maneuver and aggression. While others hesitated, Patton attacked. And when he attacked, he did it with a style that was unmistakable. Pistols with ivory handles, speeches full of fire and fury, and a belief that war, though terrible, was the most glorious of human endeavors. Yet Patton's greatest asset, his unfiltered personality, was also his Achilles heel. He once slapped a shell-shocked soldier in Sicily, calling him a coward. The public backlash nearly ended his career. Eisenhower reprimanded him, forcing an apology. But Patton didn't change. He believed that in war, there was no room for weakness. His code was old school, carved from marble ideals of duty, honor, and sacrifice. Perhaps his most famous moment came during the Battle of the Bulge. As Nazi forces launched a surprise attack through the Ardennes, Patton turned his entire army north, pivoting 90 degrees in the middle of winter, and marched to relieve the besieged town of Bastogne. It was a logistical miracle, a tactical masterpiece, and a morale-shaking blow to the German offensive. The Allies were stunned. The enemy was shattered. But victory didn't silence Patton's critics. His mouth was still his biggest enemy. He praised former Nazis too publicly. He questioned Allied policies too boldly. And he made clear he saw the Soviets not as partners, but as future enemies. In the delicate political world of post-war Europe, this made him dangerous. In 1945, just months after the war ended, Patton was relieved of his command, stripped of the glory he had bled to earn, and then, tragedy. Just weeks later, while on a hunting trip in Germany, Patton's car collided with a U.S. Army truck. He suffered a broken neck and died 12 days later. Some called it fate. Others whispered conspiracy. He was buried at the Luxembourg American Cemetery, laid to rest beside the men he led into hell and back. Even in death, Patton demanded to stand with his soldiers. George S. Patton remains one of America's most fascinating military figures. A paradox of honor and arrogance, genius and recklessness. He believed he had been born in the wrong century, that he was a reincarnation of ancient warriors. Maybe he was. But whatever the truth, one thing is certain. He didn't just live history, he charged straight into it, head high, pistols blazing, heart on fire.